pick up that click like nobody business.
Yeah. That's why I started doing it where it would just the single tap, like not the single,
yeah. I've been doing. I use my mouse at work because it's easier, but I definitely. Let me see. Okay. Back it up.
I think now the what I'm enjoying a lot is the fact that I get to do a lot of things in silence.
Yes. Yeah, I feel you. I do. Yep.
It's I get to help a lot of friends out in silence. I get to, it's just a lot of different things that I get to do in silence.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes a world of it. I think it makes a world of a difference for sure. Let's see. Wonder. I'll do something.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. All right. Actually, I think I know what might be the problem. I'll put my headphone. No, because the only thing is like if I bring the headphones down and bring the mics up just to see this, because it's fine where it is, although the waveforms aren't like super high, but when I bring them up, they sound perfect. And so I'm like, it doesn't matter. But then I'm like, we can hear. It's one of those things where everything is right, but visually, I'm like, I'm not seeing the result. And I'm like, this is one of those moments where it's like, what do you do? And of course, the right answer is to go with the first instinct, go with what's right, and then just, just continue doing what works.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I want to see that.
I got you.
This is one of those mini lessons. Someone will probably text me and be like, oh, that'll preach. And I'm like, it will. It will. Physical results don't add up to what's going on. You're just like, what's going on? But everything's working. Just what you see is not. And then I do a little bit of changes and boom, bam.
Boom. Yeah.
It's like but yes, I'm really enjoying the fact that like I get to do a lot of things in just silence.
Yes. I got you. Yep.
It's so weird. It's different, and I think what's even weirder is being on I wouldn't even say social media. I think it's specifically just Instagram.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but being on Instagram, it makes it feel like it's loud all the time. It always feels just loud.
Gotcha.
And so you could be doing nothing. You could be doing absolutely nothing on Instagram, and it feels completely loud. Like it just feels like everyone. I think it's because it seems like everyone is talking. There's so much going on. You have to say something, or like you're gonna get pushed in the back, or I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff. And the more and more I look at Instagram and go through Instagram, or just, when I did or whatnot, and the more and more I keep exploring, because Twitter doesn't make me feel like that. Pinterest doesn't make me feel like that. Reddit doesn't make me feel like that. Nothing makes me feel like that except Instagram, even MySpace. If y'all remember AOL chat, if you don't know what AOL chat is, either you're just ignorant to that, or you're just too young, like way too young, because that's one of those things where it's like, if you know about AOL chat, I can kind of gauge where you are. Yeah. But if you don't, like, I met some kids that didn't even know who Britney Spears was, or Teletubbies. I was like, yeah, Britney Spears. They're like, who's that?
Wow.
Teletubbies. They're like, never heard of. I'm
like the Britney Spears meltdown.
Yes.
Kevin Federline, like. That was a thing.
Yeah.
I get Kevin Federline out there.
Oh, my gosh.
A lot of thug people was like, man, he came up.
Yes.
I think he's still I'm gonna leave this kind of PG on that one, but that was a woo.
Funny.
Yes, that was definitely entertaining in the entertainment industry.
For sure.
She had a meltdown and everything.
Yeah, it was wild. I was like, it was just crazy.
That was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy.
But yeah, it's like I like silence. I think I need to look up this quote. Actually, I'm gonna do it on my phone because when I type on I just remembered I still have my computer headphones in. I don't need those. I need these headphones. Headphones. Yeah, now I can hear exactly what I sound like. I found out about all the little filters and stuff on the software or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of them was making it sound like you're talking through a telephone. I think the other one was making it sound like you're in the basement of a club or something.
Gotcha.
It was like wild stuff. And I'm like,
yeah.
I might one day, just for kicks and giggles, actually do something where I'm like, hey guys, so I want to do the whole podcast like I'm in the basement of a club. And it's like, why? And it's like, why not? Let's see. I'm pretty sure it was a Chinese proverb, as most things are that are pulled on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I think there was a time where I don't know if it was influencers, if it was just people on Instagram, but everyone just loved Chinese proverbs. Like anything else was just ridiculous. It was like, if it ain't a Chinese proverb, I don't want it. And so I think people would they would just, go on Google, look up a Chinese proverb and rock out. Shout out to all my Chinese people out there.
Yes.
It's weird to say. I don't know how like Americanized Chinese food is, because like of course we can gauge it and we can see and whatnot.
Yes.
But like, if I'll say it like this: if I was Jamaican and I went to a Jamaican restaurant, I could gauge exactly how Americanized it is. If I was Mexican, I went to a Mexican restaurant, I could be like, but that's the only thing that like not concerns me, but it's more so it drives me into a state of curiosity, is that I never know how, not authentic, because that's not the word, because they're still authentic, but I never know, I guess, how close to home every single restaurant is. Let's see. But here we go. I found it. So this was like, and I think it really registered with my soul, because it's definitely been one of those things that I always hear repeatedly, like just randomly. It says, a seed grows with no sound, but a tree falls with huge noise. Destruction has noise, but creation is quiet. This is the power of silence. Grow silently. Now, who said that? That is the good question, because I actually don't know. Of course, I want to say it's Confucius, but it's not, because
I got you. Yep.
I don't know. I don't know who said it.
That's the go-to person.
Yeah, it is. Because one of them says unknown, and then another one says Confucius, and I'm like, which one is it? Is it Confucius or is it unknown? So we're gonna say, so I don't disrespect Confucius, because if it is him, I'm pretty sure that he would be perfectly fine with me, like, not saying anything and being like, oh, it was Confucius, and then it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, I don't want to. Disrespect a few. I don't want to disrespect a few. But what is this? Okay. The subject that I had in mind. There's a lot. There's been, of course, I've been kind of staying up to date with a lot of activism thing, like what's going on with Hong Kong. Everything that's going on with climate change, Greta.
Yes.
I remember Jace we were about to eat, and he said something. It was along the lines of like, no one in the family has ever, like, I guess, basically gone so hard for like that type of activism. And he said, you're pretty much like the first. He's like, good job. And I was like, what? That's so weird. I was like, what are you talking about? But it was one of those things where, now I understand like a kind of a little bit of how people felt back in the day when they started things.
Mhm.
Like for you, it would be trading.
Yes.
And that's one of those things where I'm like, I'm excited to know about because it's like, it's just knowledge. And I was also, fun fact about knowledge, I was playing Gears of War 5. And for anybody who hasn't played Gears 5 yet, I think, in all honesty, in my personal opinion, it's probably one of the best games that's come out and in a while. Definitely one of the best games of this year. I'm very, very pleased with how they made it. I'm very pleased with how they, orchestrated everything. And if you would like more details and whatnot on that, which now saying that I'm gonna have to release this episode soon because it just came out.
Yes. Yep. You just boxed yourself in.
I'm like, I only got
box yourself in much.
I got like a week to release this now. I'm like, oh, but yeah, it was a really great game. But there was a character in the game. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. If you want more details and if you want me to explain games more in depth while also seeing me play them and absolutely rage the heck out and say things that maybe aren't very Christian like, but God loves me just the way I am. Swag. But there was a character in the game. His name was Dell, and he just had knowledge on so many things. Like he was just this really, really. And the funny thing is, like, we could be like, oh, he was just so smart. But I think it's one of those things where it's more than being smart. He was just knowledgeable, because it was like he was in, as far as like performance and whatnot, to the main characters in the game. Of course, like everything has to be pretty, I guess, balanced as far as characters. So no one's over another.
Yes, it's not lopsided, so to speak.
It's like one main character is, going hard in the paint, and the other ones are kind of falling in behind. But he was he was great. He was a great character, very diverse and very just he brought a lot to the table, which that's what I like about Gears games, is that even from the first game, in the first game, it was funny because, ever since the first game, every character has been able to just push the story forward in some type of way without the need of a backstory. Because Gears came in and everyone was like, what is going on? There's like these alien giant buff things, whatever they are, and we're shooting them. But it was one of the greatest games that has come out to date. And I'm very excited about Death Stranding. I've been talking about this game so much, and I'm literally getting a PlayStation for that game, and Kingdom Hearts, of course. But Dell was very knowledgeable. He was super knowledgeable, and there was just so many things about him that was like crazy. And so it was one of those things that made me think, I'm like, I wonder what makes people want knowledge, like what keeps people gaining knowledge, or how do people kind of like keep that knowledge and just, because you could randomly be in a position where like Mount Rushmore, like some people don't even really know the origins. They just know its face is on a mountain. And you could be with a friend and be like, oh yeah, I know like some.
And you know something, for it, saying that, for the longest time, I don't even think I knew who was up there.
Nah.
You know what I mean? It didn't resonate for me because I was poor back then. You know what I mean? So
it was like, that
wasn't our history, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so actually, while I'm getting
right now, I know I knew about it, but like right now, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you who up there or any history about it. I just know it's there.
Let's see. Let's find out who's up there, because I only know Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. Let's see. Some people would be so offended. They're like, you live in America?
Yeah, and
I'm like, how are we supposed to know everything?
And it wasn't even, it's not even a respect or a disrespect thing. I have nothing in common with them people up there. You know what I'm saying? They have nothing in common with my history, except I know they was around, to have some slaves.
Yeah.
So I'm basically, it is what it is. I'm not too pressed on remembering, I guess, that part of history right now, because I'm working on my own.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so the memorial depicts 4 American presidents: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln, who represent the first 130 years of American history. The carving started October 4th, 1927, Wow. And finished 14 years later on October 31st, 1941. So yeah, they were going hard in the paint for this thing. But yeah, that's that. If you want to know more fun facts about Mount Rushmore, go to sciencekids.co.nz and find out more about Mount Rushmore. I did not mean to, no pun intended. But that's what I was, yeah, that's definitely, that was kind of the subject in the back of my mind was about, it was just knowledge. It was just always, I guess, not even always being in the know, but just having knowledge over just anything. Gotcha. And, you know, all of us in this great family of ours, we are all knowledgeable in some area, and all of what we're knowledgeable, it intertwines at some point, but we are very, I would say we're very dedicated to the things that we want to know about. Yes. And we're kind of, we're like, whatever we want to know until it interferes with something personally, we're all 100% in it. Like I had no idea about crew or even anything, you know, what it is or just, you know, different things.
Anything about rowing.
Yeah. Until the only thing I knew about rowing was that if you try to do 100 push-ups and then row right afterwards, you will either throw up or you will die. There is no in between. There is no if, ands, or buts. You are either going to do one of the two and then fall off. So unless you're just physically adept, then do 300 push-ups and then row right after you finish those 300. And I guarantee, actually, 300 and under a minute. Let me just put that there, because I was like, I wasn't very specific on how, because people be like, I do one push-up a day for 100 days, and then
yeah,
don't try to cheat the system.
Yes,
don't try to cheat the system. But yeah, so the crazy thing is that we're all super knowledgeable about so many different things, and I think that it's a testament to kind of like the curiosity of freedom, but also just having, I guess, the ability as kids to just be active, and we can question a lot of things. And one of the things that I remember you telling me about when I was, because I would ask you questions about things that would basically seem almost like obvious, but the problem is that in the past, when these questions came from an experience, so it's like, oh, like, what is like, okay, is this the thing? Is the specific? It's like, yes, that's the thing. Like, why are you asking this question? It's like,
something happened.
Because things in the past, I'm like, this is okay. This feels like I don't have to ask, but I need to ask just to make sure. And it's one of those things where I was like, man, that's crazy. But silence and knowledge, I think a lot of people gain a lot of knowledge in silence, but it depends on where you are, really. Because, you know, of course, with what's going on in places like Hong Kong, that's a lot of noise. And, you know, there's not really that much silence, but you gain a lot of knowledge from what's going on. And so really more so, I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts about like that, and just from when you were growing up until now, and how much knowledge has changed, and how much like just the difference between so many different things. Like, for instance, like how much access we have, and how much, because knowledge completely changed me.
Yes.
It was one of those things where I started understanding that more and more. Of course, I always wanted to be a good person, but having the knowledge that I have now, I can associate things with patterns. I can look at things and see, you know, the inevitables and just different things like that. But I would say it definitely changed. It changed me for the better. And now it's like, okay, before I wanted to be a good person, and now it's like, no, it's a necessity to be as great of a person I can be.
So and you can refresh me as I go on.
Yeah.
The first thing that sticks out is how knowledge has changed since I was younger.
Yeah.
It has grown leaps and bounds. When that trigger words of internet, bullying, social media, but when I think about it from the early stages, younger stages. Knowledge has changed because we have it, a lot of it at our fingertips.
Yeah.
Look at our table. You know what I mean? I could look up something just like you can look up a quote real quick.
Mount Rushmore.
Yes. And before you had to go by a lot of memory. I think memory was used and exercised, and it's like decision making. It's a muscle. You have to work it. If you don't, it gets weaker.
Yeah.
The internet is a crutch. You know what I'm saying? We can go right to it. And I say that it's a double-edged sword kind of crutch, because you could go there, but it has a plethora of information right at your fingertips. So when I was younger, if it was a word or a definition that we needed to spell correctly or look up, or synonyms or whatever it was, we had to go to encyclopedia. An Encyclopedia Britannica is not anymore. It went from having big books, somebody coming to your door trying to sell them to you, and then to somebody selling you a range of CDs, like the Time Life collection of music. But now everything is digitally. You have a thumb drive with your whole computer on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Backed up. You know what I mean? Encrypted files and stuff like that. So knowledge is good and bad in that sense. I have gained a lot, and I'm looking up some of the books I've read from going to Audible books. A lot of knowledge. You can highlight, you can basically, from the internet, I taught myself how to trade. Videos and reading and, YouTube. And of course, my homeboy, I got to give a shout out to B. John Robinson right now, because that is my definite, man, if I can't, I don't care how many, if I talk to him twice a day or once a year, that's my man, 50 grand.
Yeah. He
definitely helped change and mold my life and what I see and what's possible out there, because he that type of person. He has that that vision. We talked about the law of attraction. You know what I'm saying? That's my dude. You know what I mean? Whatever happened in this world, if he go down, I go down, because I'm going to go down following him. You know what I mean? And vice versa, I believe. I would not let him go out without a fight.
Yeah.
So about knowledge about self, that's more knowledge. You know what I mean? I realized I couldn't have did what I've been doing by myself.
Yeah. That's
my go-to guy. You know what I mean? That's fam all the way around, so, just the plethora of things, but everything is a yin and a yang.
Yeah.
I realized that recently, with people around me and how I handled things and how people handled me. It just was, surprising. And at the beginning and end of the day, it's love and knowledge. It's love and knowledge. So going back to what I was saying in the beginning about what is readily available from when I was younger to now is the knowledge that you can to get into. But you have Wikipedia and stuff like that. You could get fake news. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you got to watch where you get your knowledge from. I recently was talking to one of my homegirls, and I said, I even learned something from bad books that I think are not knowledgeable or not written well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I have a gauge. But I always learn something from those bad books also, as well as the books that I really like. You know how you see a bad movie and you be like, man, that was not good, or that was trash.
Yeah, it's like, yeah,
they could have did this and XYZ better. But you see a good movie and you learn, more about the bad movie the first time, because you like, I don't want to see this again. But the good movie, the good book, you read it and keep read, because sometimes you miss something or you're in a different headspace than you were at that time to receive that knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, as you get older, you receive the same knowledge differently with your experience. You know, you come in and you, some questions you do ask, and I'm like, quickly answer, and I'm like, yo, that's common sense. But I have to remember, you know, common sense ain't so common.
It's not.
You know, and your life experience is going to take you to those places. Now, I pray for patience all the time, because I sometimes I have none, and sometimes I have none and I shouldn't. Sometimes I have none and I should. But patience is one of them. I gotta learn the knowledge about being patient. Like, hey man, you gotta chill. You know what I'm saying? But we all know how that go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got to take certain things with a grain of salt and X, Y, Z. But I love learning, you know, and I realize that I'm never going to stop learning, because to stop learning is to stop living and growing.
Yes, 100%.
Once you stop your willingness to stop learning, I think you start dying.
Yeah.
You start dying, you know, and man, like where I read, you know, if you do nothing in this life and do nothing for your people to be remembered, that's when you die twice. You leave the physical, and then you die again when your name is never spoken.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I want my name to reign as long as it possibly can through the years and through my family, because that's the way I live forever. I want to build something to, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80 years down the road. Y'all built something off my back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the legacy that keeps it going, and the knowledge that I gave y'all, and y'all expound on that. I remember when my great granddad, I remember when my great great granddad did this, and this is why we look and we do and we move like this.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? That's the knowledge I'm trying to bestow on all of my kids, all of my people,
Yep.
all of my pride. You know what I'm saying? Because man, we rulers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We are definitely kings and princes and princesses, and we're gonna go and conquer and do things, but we can't do that without knowledge of self.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about knowledge of culture. I'm talking about knowledge of yourself, of what you hold dear. You know, don't move on it. You stand on something. You know what I mean? Stand on it and hold it, because right, wrong, and indifferent, you know, you got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything.
Yes.
You know, and those simple sayings that's back there, they hold and reign true as you get older and your knowledge expounds.
Yeah. So what do you think turns people off from gaining knowledge? Because I've seen people just don't want to know. And I mean, besides
change. Fear change, in my opinion. Fear.
You think there's anything else?
That's the catalyst. I think that's the first part.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are scared of change, just like those fear factors of Grant Cardone. It's ringing in my head, and I got to say it, and then I could get to the other part. But his thing was fear,
mm-hmm.
false events appearing real.
Yes.
But people are afraid of change. Even I balk at changes sometimes. I don't feel like doing that, but you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That fear of that change will cause you to not change.
Yeah.
Your habits will cause you not to change. You know, if it didn't work the first time, fear of failure. The one right after that is fear of success. You are afraid of winning because you don't know, you self-sabotage. That is, as soon as you said it, I was like, fear. People are scared to do things that either, like, okay, you know you sick, but you don't want to go to the doctor to find out what's wrong.
Why you're sick.
Yes. You know, overcome that fear and go tackle it before it becomes a big problem.
Because it could be,
yes.
It could be anything.
It could be a misunderstanding. It could be gas, mm-hmm. or it could be something.
Yeah. Like when you were telling me about tea, and you were like, I thought I had stomach aches. And
like B-Wax.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, what? But yeah,
but both of my homeboys, they went and got themselves checked up and checked out, and it was something. It wasn't just what they thought it was or what it felt like. It was something potentially life threatening, but they got on top of it. We get on top. Like I have a physical outside of what I got to do, and I'm glad I do, and I'm glad I have a relationship with my doctor, because right now they trying to medically disqualify me for the things that I was using inside of the system to better myself. And I'm so upset because I was fearful of going in the first place. And now I'm upset because the thing that I was trying to avoid is the very thing that is happening to me.
Yeah.
But, I had to navigate around it because, something got filled out wrong, XYZ. Now I have an appointment and it's getting all handled.
Yes.
But, just that fear of trying to change, being stuck in that old routine. If it ain't broke, don't fix it type mind frame. You know what I mean? You can't grow without any friction. I always say life ain't always butterflies and rainbows. You're gonna have to get some tension. The bitter is definitely, or the sweet is not sweet without the bitter.
It is.
You can have sweetness the whole entire time. Then you run into bitter and fold. Or you make it out the bitter harder. It was harder for you because you wasn't prepared or you was fearful of it. And then you realize how sweet the sweet is.
We're looking at you, June.
Yep. Square in the face.
I might have to get tatted up somewhere on me. I just June 2019, June 2019.
Yep. So just baseline, hard to change because of fear. Fear and no plan.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people try to get knowledge a lot at one time, and it's dangerous because and it's funny because we have movies literally that depict scenes about what happens when you get too much at one time and how your brain overloads. But some people, it's like, of course, in a way it's exaggerated, but it's also not. And I think some people think that they can and they want to get so much at one time because they're falling behind. And they're like, no, I need to be ahead of the game or whatever. And it's like, well, I'm already so behind. Like I would have to. And it's like, when you want to get a lot at one time, like I would just say, be in a scenario where 3 people are trying to talk to you at one time about 3 completely different things, and watch how overwhelmed you get. It doesn't matter who you are. 3 people trying to talk about 3 different things. It's like, no, I could be calm out internally and externally, but it's still overwhelming because I can't focus directly on one thing and I can't split myself up.
Yes.
So when thinking about that, I think that some people are turned off by the fact of time. And they're like, I don't have enough time to gain all the knowledge I can. And it's like, which is almost in a way a little selfish because it's like, well, whoever said that you were the one that had to finish the job? Like we just, in the recent months or this year specifically, Greta Thunberg was like a huge phenomenon because she's a 16-year-old girl doing all this climate change stuff. But, in a way, someone did something for her to come to where she is now and stuff like that. Or I'll even give a better little, I wouldn't say better, but a different visualization. Let's see, we'll have Japan and Africa, and those two will say inheritance. So when it came to different things, and I'll use Africa more so because I don't know a lot about Japanese history. I'm learning about a lot of things, but I don't want to be wrong and offend people. They're like, that's not the way it happened. I'm like, hey, hit my email. Let's talk about it. Just don't yell at me.
Yes.
Yell at me when I'm being ignorant. Don't yell at me when I'm being wrong. So, but, or purposefully ignorant.
I like that.
Yes. So, when it was a couple things. Like I was just watching this TV show, and it was it was not a TV show. It wasn't. It was a movie. I was like, wait, it came from a TV show, but it was a movie. Gotcha. It was called Fist of the North Star. And
oh man, that's a great movie.
Oh my God, I love Fist of the North Star. I sat there.
That's a great movie. That's a great movie.
The show, it was everything about it. If you haven't watched it, it's a lot. It's a lot of gore, but go back, just go watch it. It's great. But one of the things that was passed down was this I think I can't remember exactly what the technique was called. I don't
Yeah, I
wanna
know what
butcher
you're
it.
talking. I know what you mean. I can't remember
Yeah.
either. It was a yeah.
Yeah, it's like it
Man.
was either like, I don't know, it was like Hakuto Kenshin or something like that. Something into that degree, I don't know. But it was passed down, and it started with one. I think the current successor of it was the 43rd successor, and that made me think. I'm like, there wasn't just 42 people who came before the 43rd. There was 42 others, but also candidates. So there was a lot of information. Basically, it was Hakuto no Ken. So there it is. I could not remember what it was called, but I'm pretty sure actually I just said Fist of the North Star, but actually just in Japanese. You know what? I'll say it at the end. I'll look it up now. Say it at the end of what the technique was, or what it was called, and whatnot.
Yeah. Because
I was like, I'm not about to butcher this, and I'm going to redeem myself. So y'all can get on me later about it, but whatever. So basically, with that, you have 42 others that were passing down a technique in a martial arts. And you have all of these people, these potentials, these candidates that are in the runnings for this, and you're basically, I was right the first time. It was Hakuto Shinken. That I knew. I was like, I know I'm saying this right. Aha. So you're passing this down, and people are carrying it out, perfecting the technique and learning new techniques, and now we have what we have now, which is our 43rd successor of the technique and the martial arts. And then in like Africa, you have things where you're passing down a lineage and you're passing down a heritage.
Yes,
and so you never, I'll even say it like this. Leonardo da Vinci, I almost said DiCaprio. Leonardo da Vinci said it best. He said, art is never finished. It's just abandoned. And the thing is, if we establish a mentality where we don't have to finish things, I don't think that we'll always be in such a hurry and such a race to finish everything.
Gotcha.
Because like trading, it would be great if trading went on forever. Like, and there would probably come to imagine if we were in space, like Mass Effect and stuff, instead of money, it would be just something different. Different currency and whatnot. With photography, it started and it is never finished because there's always something to capture. Yes. We've just been perfecting the techniques and doing a plethora of different things. But when we establish a relationship with life where it is not a race that we should finish, but just a race that people should inherit it, I think that it would be better for our knowledge, because we would be more excited to learn about what came before, and we would increase the efficiency of what's to come. But of course, we have so many people in high power and just different things that want to end everything. So everything feels like a race. And so I think that that's why I value silence, because you never really know what's going on. And then when it comes out, it's like, there was nothing that could pervert this before. So however it comes out, that's what it is. You can't change that. No matter what you do, you can't change it. And that's what people are going to grow knowledgeable about. Whether you tried to change it or not, that's what people are going to know. So it's a lot, but I think, knowledge, I feel like there's another phrase besides just knowledge is power, because it's a lot of things. You can do a lot of things with knowledge, but knowledge is love for sure. Knowledge is love. Knowledge
especially when you're sharing it.
Yeah.
And when it's free, because I don't want to, like, everything I know, especially about trading, I try to tell, especially my people, hey, I'm doing this, doing that, because I want them to have this knowledge. Because if I don't know if they might be the next trading phenom. Yeah. You know what I mean? So just like with Ames talking about Jared, she was like, I'm gonna send him down here and blah blah. I was like, yo, you don't understand. He ready to teach somebody, because you'll expand your knowledge when you start teaching. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That is it. Long gone are the days of, those who can't teach. Yeah. Nah, B, you're a coach. You know what I mean? You gotta, the knowledge. Maybe it's something that you never knew, like trading. I didn't know before I started trading like that. So now I'm like, man, this is awesome. And I want to be able to tell people, because it's not I don't want to keep it and hoard it. I'm not Scrooge McDuck. You know what I mean? Yes. I'm not trying to hold on to all of it. And, but I do know my worth. And, I do think of it as a business. I want to eventually monetize it. And, you know, it has a cost. I gave up a lot to do this and all that knowledge and time. So, you know, I do want it to be something I love that I possibly can make money teaching them and like that. But that's not my first motivational factor of wanting to get out there and teach.
Yeah. It's funny because someone asked me about like being a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I don't want to. Because, and the thing is because, in a way, like I do and I don't like teaching. I mostly, it's like, I mostly don't because I don't really, teaching is weird. And I think I associate it with school and not just associate it with things like that. I like to show. I like show and tell because I'm a visual learner.
Yes.
So teaching is like, but showing and telling, because I like people to establish their own relationship with what they do. Like I tell people all the time, I'm like, if you work with cameras and you own a camera, you have a camera in your possession and you haven't named it, you don't have a relationship with your camera. That's like my first thing always. Of course, you know, a little exaggerated, but it's like, if you own a camera and that is
that is your process.
Yes.
That's your process.
It is. And so that's usually how I start out. I'm like, have you named your camera yet? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, you have to establish a relationship because, you know, every camera that I have, I either have named or I have a name and I'm basically waiting for it to be cleared because I have to figure out like, okay, what do I want to name this? How do I want to name this? Am I going like, I have one on the potential chopping board, but like, do I want to give this name here to like this one? And so every name is specific. Every name means something. Every name represents something, and it always ties into the camera in some type of way. And so, I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes I give more thought to the names of my cameras than sometimes I give thought to when I'm shooting. I give thoughts to my projects, but when I'm shooting, I'm shooting. It's just natural. It's whatever flows. But teaching is weird to me. It's fun. It's fun, but it's very strange. But I think there was like something else that I wanted to ask, and I guess we can. Oh, we got a good little session here. Yes, so yeah, we can. We'll close. I guess we can close out after this one.
Okay.
And get to the getting. But one of the getting back to the original thing that I was telling you about like silence and whatnot.
Yes.
It is definitely different learning everything in silence. And it's definitely one of those things where I'm taking advantage of it now because I know like in the future, of course, like, you know, with you having kids and you having 70 different panels that you have to keep making sure that you look up.
Yep.
You know, do you ever get your time to learn in silence? Or because I know you don't, like, I guess it'll answer another question, which is how much silence do you ever get to experience? But do you ever get your time to ever learn?
Yes. And we were talking about people you had mentioned earlier that people had said they didn't have enough time. Yeah. Everybody has the same 24 hours. And I learned this when I was online to be a master mason. 24-inch gauge is 24 hours in a day. What I learned from trading was in those 24 hours, you have to manage your time. Yeah. I do get those spaces, not as much sometimes as I want to, but it's creativeness. And I learned this from reading. It either had to be the compound effect or the 10x theory. I'll look those books up as we're going. Okay. But 24-inch gauge, 24 hours in a day, and using your downtime. This might sound crazy, but when I'm on the shitter, that's time. Yeah. I can read. I just don't go in there and bring in a magazine or something. I'm going in with the intent on I could get this done. I can listen to this book and it's relaxing. Yeah. You know, sometimes I need my alone time and my decompression and I don't call or put myself on do not disturb on the way to and from work. That's 57 minutes sometimes. Yeah. You know, if I drive the speed limit and I'm not concentrating on aggressively driving, I can concentrate on things when my head is is not, I guess, not clear, so to speak. Also, when I'm running, I let myself get into a workout euphoria, and I'm able to, that first half mile I know is a crusher, but eventually I get my breathing down, and I get into, a stride and a sweat, and, I feel a certain way. Yeah. And then my mind can relax itself and start thinking. And like when I came in that day, I was like, hey, I got to go clear my mind.
Yeah. I was like, oh,
yes. And I know instead of back in the day, and this is those habits I talked about and those routines. Yeah. So I know that about myself, and I know I'm teetering on something. So let's get myself back balanced. At least try to burn off some of this negative energy, because I know when I get out there, I'll figure out what I need to figure out. Yeah. I have listened to books. I have listened to music. I have listened to myself breathe. It's going out there, knowing yourself. The time that you go into and you have to go get it. And going back to the 24-inch gauge, you have to take those 24 hours and pick out 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here. Those add up, and then you won't feel like you're wasting your day. The other thing that was pretty prolific in knowing how to measure and use your time wisely is wake up. Remember, I told you, if you want to progress and you want to see yourself progress, check them off. Don't erase them. That's one. And then pick something. I want to get 3 things done: a high priority, a mid priority, or a low priority, or 3 things, whatever they're going to do. And then you feel like you accomplished something for the day. Yeah. You know what I mean? Put everything in this perspective. And if you get a 4th thing or a 5th thing done, you're ahead of the game. But the other thing, and I'll close out by saying this. I used to be the hugest procrastinator. And then I had to come up with something. And it was this: procrastination is the leading killer of all dreams. Procrastination is the leading killer of all dreams. If you do not go out and you keep saying, this is a good time, or I'm gonna do this on Monday, or I'm gonna do the, everybody can do things the best in ideal conditions. Lance Armstrong, he was out there. He wanted to race in the rain, because if he is better or just as good as you on your best day with no conditions, and he is going through everything, he's going to beat you. Because when that adversity come up, it's going to be a walk in the park. It's going to be his Tuesday. Yeah. And it's going to be devastation for you. I always go back to Mike Tyson. Everybody got a plan till they get hit in the face. Yes. So, that age, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Yeah. Be able to adjust.
I thought that was the garage.
Me too.
I was like,
it's time to move on somebody.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, I was, you seen that? We both,
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
The case is over there. My room is there, but it's not close enough that they already made it halfway. Oh man, I was thinking, all right, but yes, tight.
Yeah. So that's that get right. You know what I mean? That's the way I approach things at this stage. Yeah. With time, patience, and knowledge. So there you have it.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yes.
We are doing great things.
Don't forget about the comments. Yes. We want questions.
We want all that.
We want everything.
Look out for a gaming channel in the future. I don't know.
Whatever. It's coming. It's coming.
Look out for all the things.
More content, more guests.
Yes.
Not more guests. We got to get a guest.
We have to get a guest.
I think that's going to be such a mile marker.
Yes.
I can't wait to do that. I can't wait.
We're progressing smoothly. Yes. We're doing things. We're not trying to get it all at one time.
And it's great. One thing I did want to say is I feel the shift of energy in the house.
Yes.
I do. I like it. It's still, it is what it is. It's trying. We got to make some adjustments on things, but mid-September, what I mean? It's different. It is, everything is a lot different than what we started this month.
For sure.
So, I feel really blessed about that, you know, and I'm glad we getting this content. Even it's got to go somewhere, you know what I mean? I feel the progression and I love it. So definitely get the morning run, and yeah, man, I love it.
Tight. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been the Breakers of Bread podcast. I ain't even say it.
I know. I just remembered.
Oh, well, this is the Breakers of Bread podcast with your unknown until now host, Detavius Neblek.
Jay Wilkins.
And we are out. Deuces. Drink your water. Please save the earth. Please do
metal
stuff.
Straws,
metal straws, canteens, you know, all that stuff. Go be a Visco girl for once. Deuces.